Yo, Mr. Boyle here. And our first Check Your Understanding for section 1.2 deals with the idea of SOCs, shape, outlier, center, and spread. So they went through and they have a dot plot. So you'll notice the numbers are listed along here. So that means the number of people that have 6 siblings was 1 person. How many people had 5 siblings? 1 person. How many had no siblings? 3. That's by the number of dots. You can clearly tell that the most people, or the number of siblings that most people have, is 1 followed by 2. So when we start talking about SOCs, so shape, this distribution is skewed to the right and unimodal. First thing I'll talk about is unimodal. Unimodal, by just the prefix uni, means 1. So there's 1 peak here. Of course, if there happened to be a second peak, then we would call this bimodal. This is skewed right. So now here's where you have to be really careful. Skewed right means that there's some data points to the right that are pulling away from the majority of the points. So if you look at this, the majority of the points are right here on the left, but these 2 points here are pulling or dragging away from those, and they're pulling to the right. That is called skewed to the right. The center. We'll get into more specific things. We'll talk about when do you use mean and median. Those would be the 2 things you would use for center. In this one, this is a very basic. They just say, hey, the midpoint of the 28 values is 1 and 2. So they just numbered out all of the 3 zeros and however many 1s and however many 2s and 3 3s and 1 5 and 1 6. And then they worked their way to figure out what the middle number was, which here happened to be 28. Like I said, as we move forward, this will go away from being midpoint and will be specifically, are we going to use the median or are we going to use the mean? We'll talk about what do you do in a situation like this where it's actually skewed. Number 3, spread. Another word that most of you know is range. We're also going to talk about interquartile range, which deals a lot with dot plots. So this one ranges from a low of 0 all the way up to a high of 6. And then the last one, potential outliers. This is one of those we'll also talk about later, is how can I identify whether a data point is actually an outlier. In this one, we say there's potential outliers, which would be 5 and 6, which of course is the reason why we believe that it's skewed to the right. So 5 and 6, look, because they're not connected with these, are kind of the outliers. They just don't fit the pattern of the rest of the data. Hey, this is Mr. Boyle, and I'm out.